do, I want to bring up Debbie Wall. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. She is going to train us today on DACdB. So I hope you have your devices or your notepad because we're in for a treat. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Crystal. Good to be with you all. Thanks for having me. I've done technology pieces for the district for several years. Not my current assignment. I'm currently the District Rotary Foundation Coordinator for the district, but I always happy to step in and help the clubs learn more about DACdB and the difference between DACdB and my Rotary. And we're going to talk a little bit about both today. I know today's focus is around DACdB, but I want you to understand the difference between DACdB and my Rotary. And there's different functions that occur in each of those systems. So the difference, DACdB is our district database, and we can communicate amongst each other in the district as well as around the world for any other district that uses DACdB for their platform, for their district database. So you may be at an international convention and meet somebody from Atlanta, Georgia, and you didn't get their contact information, but you know their name, so you can go globally search, and I'll show you that in a minute. You can go globally search and see, oh, here's how I can get a hold of this person. The wonderful thing about that is we make connections around the world, and sometimes we lose those connections. So this is a way to find them and reconnect. DACdB also is where we follow our engagement. So when you're doing projects and you're putting in your engagement hours, you're putting in your project information, you're putting in your attendance, you're putting in your makeups for any event that you attend that serves as a makeup for your club. All that feeds into DACdB, and that's in the engagement module that we'll talk about. The difference between DACdB and also before I jump over, we also register for district events, like the grants management seminar that just occurred this last Saturday. The option for grants management seminar is Monday, March 16th. So if you've not attended and want to attend, or you want to re-attend to reiterate what you learned, the one on Monday night at 5 o'clock will only be on the district grants portion of it. It will not go to global grants like this past Saturday did. You can also register for district conferences, other district events, the change of leadership, the foundation banquet, all those things that we do as a district. You register through DACdB for those. My Rotary is the Rotary International platform, and it's on Rotary.org. And you register, you create your account, and there you can register for international events. So you may want to go to an upcoming international convention. You register through your My Rotary account. You can track your foundation activity through your My Rotary account. You can obtain more what I call internal information about Rotary than a non-Rotarian. A non-Rotarian can go to Rotary.org and read all about our organization. But when you log into your My Rotary account, it opens up another level of information of what Rotarians are seeing internally in Rotary and things that are going on and articles. You also have the ability in My Rotary to get your correct logos for banners, signage, events. The Rotaract logo, the Interact logo, all the foundation logos, they're all in Brand Center in My Rotary. You can also make your Rotary donations to the Rotary Foundation directly through your My Rotary account. And if you choose, you can also sign up to do what's called Rotary Direct, where they will automatically charge your credit card or deduct from your bank account on the frequency that you set your donations to the Rotary Foundation. And you can have multiple Rotary Direct sign-ups. So you can sign up to send money to Annual Perkins Fund, send money to Polio Plus. So all that occurs in the My Rotary side of it. Logins can be the same, but they do not have to be the same. So some people are like, well, I can't get in. And they're trying to use their DACdB login, but that might not be what they set up, or vice versa. They can be, they don't have to be the same. So that's the differences in the two platforms that we're going to talk about today. Questions before we dive into the actual sites? Other questions?
Correct.
let's dive in. All right, so this is Rotary 7600's webpage. A wealth of information here. But one of the great things here is if you have not bookmarked how to get to DACdB, the easy way to do it is from here. So up here on the top, in the right-hand corner, you see DACdB login. Okay? I encourage you to visit the Rotary District 7600 website and look at all the different drop downs because there's a wealth of information there and things that you may be looking for that you may not know is there. We try to keep it updated with the most current version. So we're going to log into DACdB. We'll be here. And when you log in, you get to your home screen. Okay? So this is the home screen for DACdB. You have a menu bar down the side as well as your data tabs across the top. Where I talked about if you wanted to find a member, if you wanted to find somebody that was within our district, you could type in their name, or you can type in what you know, they may be in a club, and you can find them. If you needed to find somebody that is not in our district, you can click the global checkmark box up here in the right-hand corner, and it will open it up and allow you to search any district that is using DACdB. So going back to my example, if you have somebody in Atlanta, you know their name, but you don't have their contact, you can do it here. Okay? If you know that you're looking for a member that's been terminated, but they'll still be in the database because the database does not erase history. So if you know that you used to be a member and you need to get a hold of them, maybe you want to invite them back to the club, or you need to get a hold for some other business aspect, you can search terminated members as well. So that's the nice thing about this. It's not only within our district, but it's global. Okay. The next tab is your personal tab. And it's all about you, all your data. And you, as a Rotarian, all Rotarians are at least a level 1. And level 1 means that you're a Rotarian and you can edit your own data. So you may find a typo of somebody that built your profile, or you moved and you need to update your address. You can go ahead and do that yourself over here under Edit Member. And when you do that, it opens up a whole other set of tabs depending on what you wanted to update. Some things automatically update, some things do not. And like if you update your address or your phone number, it will sync and automatically update Rotary International 99% of the time. There always tends to sometimes be a glitch, but clubs can monitor that and know if there's a glitch. Okay? So this is your data, and once you're done, as I always say, remember save is your best friend. I do not want you to go in and make any changes and forget to hit save, because if you forget to hit save, you're going to lose it because there's not an auto save function. Okay? So save is your best friend. If you don't have anything that you need to change, you can hit cancel. It'll take you back and it tells you, it has your picture. You may not like the picture that's out there. That's my governor picture, so probably the best picture that there is of me currently. So it gives you your contact information, everything that you're participating in. It gives you events that you're registered for. It gives you your about, your business information, any RLI class information. If you've done any of the Rotary Leadership Institute classes, it'll list those there. And then any committees that you serve on, either at club level, district level, zone level. And then it has some user-defined fields, which I have nothing in my user-defined fields. And then it also shows you the membership society, so any members that you have sponsored into Rotary will be there. As long as when a new member was brought in, that your club linked that you were the one that sponsored that member into the club. Okay? So that's your profile. Everybody can see that. Only you can edit it, or your officers in your club can edit it. So then you get into my club, and of course, if you're logged in, you're going to see your club. Today, you're going to see my Colonial Heights Club, and this is all the icons that I use in my club. So members, if I wanted to see all of my members in my club, I could click members, and I'm going to see the member list of my club. If you go back, one of the ones that we use is engagement that I talked about. Here's engagement. And engagement shows what your club has done in community hours, dollars, projects, who's the leaderboard in top hours. And this also rolls up and the district can look at it at the district level. So this is, you would see information about your club. And then also, this is where you would enter a makeup, if you had a makeup. So I heard you talking about you went to GMS seminar on Saturday. GMS seminar serves as a makeup. At least one makeup. You were there for an extended amount of time. If your club chooses that it serves as multiple makeups, you can enter multiple makeups for that because you did the full 9 to 4, right? You did.
What's the make, you're saying?
All right. So
If you missed the class?
if you missed a meeting
Mhm.
and you need a meeting makeup, all other events, projects, training events, all that
Oh.
serves as makeups towards your meeting attendance to maintain if you're one that's on a goal of wanting 100% meeting attendance
Oh.
throughout your years of Rotary. Okay? And you get meetings for makeups for each one. And then if you bank them for up to whatever your club's parameters have been, my club is 364 days. So if I went and looked at our member makeup list, you would see some of us that have makeups that are 300 plus days old because we haven't used them. And at 3 days, 365, we're going to fall off and become inactive. But it's a rolling 365, 364 for our club. So you would go in and you would put in your makeup, date, it would be defaulted to you if you're logged in, and then what the makeup venue was. So you might say GMS District Seminar. And then when you hit submit, that's going to send a note to the club secretary that you have a makeup out there. And then when they do attendance, they will apply makeups to increase your membership attendance for the month. Make sense? Questions?
Does your secretary put in your regular attendance to meetings?
Yes.
But these other things you have to add yourself?
You can add them yourself. On some clubs, the secretary knows that, it may have been a service project and they know that 5 of you all were at this service project and they'll go in and put the makeups automatically.
Or you can just tell Brenda.
Or you can still rip them.
Well, I mean, right now, most people aren't doing the makeup slips.
Right.
We used to have to bring a slip from the club and make that work.
Yeah, exactly. You went to a club meeting or you had to let them know that you went to a district event. So it serves as makeups. And then the secretary will manage that through the manage bank makeup and the match bank makeup. Now, the other thing about the engagement section here is service projects. So if you're doing service projects, which we all do, you can see open projects, you can see all projects. This is not quite all the projects for our club, but it's a sampling of the projects that we've done. There's some catch up. But you can see the projects and you can see the targeted hours and the actual hours. And all that feeds back to that dashboard and rolls up to what your club has done in service hours. And somebody can create the project, an officer can create the project and they can manage it, or they can assign it to the project lead on whoever's managing that service project and put it in. So, but it is a great way to show and to track and to know what your club is doing.
And one of the things we haven't been good at is if you do something in the community, a service project, maybe not Petersburg Rotary specific, go in and put the number of volunteer hours that you did, because that will count towards your service project hours.
And then you have the My District tab. In My District tab, you have a sampling of icons again. The two key ones here is district grants, when you're getting ready to do your district. If you go into the calendar and you're not seeing something that you're looking for, first thing I ask you to do is go up here and check and see. Do you have all these checked, or do you have part of them checked? And maybe like here, you know there's RLI events, but your RLI training event checkbox is not checked on your particular calendar. So check your calendar to make sure. I just usually leave most everything checked, and that way I know I'm not missing something. And if we go here, and I'm going to switch real quick. We'll go back to district clubs. You all may see a few things on my screen that are different than what you see. It may be because of number one, the layout I chose, or number two, because of my level of access, because I am what's considered a level 7, so I overarch any club, any district as a level 7. So I can support anybody at any level below me, from the district governor all the way down to a Rotarian. So you may see a few things that are a little different. But as you see, here's your Petersburg breakfast, or Petersburg lunch club, and your officers, and then all of your members. Okay. You also have the option to see terminated members. So you again, if it's somebody who's in your club and you're trying to find their contact information, you just go to the terminated club. And then you have your tab with your, here they refer to it as your satellite club, which is your impact club members. And then when I talked about one of the things that I encourage the officers to do is over here on the left, the RI integration. And RI integration allows you to compare member data as an officer. Only officers can do this, a level 4 or up. And at a club level, a level 4 is as high as your access goes. That means as an officer of the club, you can support anybody in your club. The member compare compares your member data between the Rotary International database and your database. And the officer compare compares your officers for this year and next year. And we run into a lot of times that a club has appointed an officer for next year, but they forgot to put them in the database. So then the officer's like, well, I can't get into my Rotary to see my Rotary Club Central information. Well, you can see it, but you can't change it because the system hasn't talked to each other to know that you're not an officer. So this is a quick way when somebody calls me and says, I can't get in, the first thing I do is I go look to see if they're officers and go push over. So and then you have club info compare. So member compare just shows your data between the left-hand side being my Rotary and the right-hand side being DACdB. So officers in the club, this is key to make sure that you got everything. If you're doing club officer compare, it'll show you current year and it'll show you the next 3 years. So Marco is in as president for next year, and so Marco, if he went to Rotary Club Central, would have his access he needs to edit and input his goals. As you all know, your rest of your officers for next year, encourage you to put them in. If a secretary or a treasurer, that's the two that roll automatically along with president-elect to next year. So if your secretary or treasurer current year is going to be the same person next year, go into their profile and mark them as secretary-elect, and the system will automatically roll their access next year. You won't have to put it in. Okay? So this is how you can check your officers and know who your officers are. But again, for you as Rotarians, the great thing is to make sure your my data is right and that you know where to go to register for district events on the district calendar and where the grant information is and the engagement information. Okay? Now, you say, I've talked about levels and how do I know what level I am? And you all can figure that out for yourself. If you go up here, once you log into DACdB and you click on your name, beside your name, you will see our district, 7600, our district, and a dash and a number. If you're in as a member, you'll be a level number 1. If you're in as an officer, you'll be a number 4. If you're a district like Rick Maddox, the AG, he's a 5. Other district officers are a 6. And you'll see the 7, as I explained, to overarch to support anyone. Questions about DACdB? All right, I want to switch over really quick and talk about one more thing. Just because people, and that's the My Rotary. So I'm logged in now to my Rotary account. Okay, this is on the Rotary.org website. It gives you the information about you and your club and your district. Okay? And then, like web pages, you can get to different things in many different ways. You have a menu bar up here at the top that talks about My Rotary, and you have drop downs. All of these here have drop downs. You also have 6 key boxes here. Rotary Club Central. Anyone can view Rotary Club Central to see what your club's goals and accomplishments are. Your officers, for the year they serve, can edit their goals and put their actuals in. Okay? That's Rotary Club Central, so you can track that. Grant Center. Grant Center is more around global grants. District grants we do through DACdB. Global grants we do through the Rotary website, Grant Center. Officers can run membership and foundation reports here, so you can see where your club's at in foundation giving through the club recognition summary and the monthly contribution report. You can also see your Paul Harris Society members, your Paul Harris fellows. Brand Center, this is where I talked about that you can go grab all of the different logos that you need, and they'll be in the right colors, right font, right format, so that you're in compliance with our brand rules. Learning Center is a wonderful for that Rotarian that wants, officer or non-officer, that wants to learn more about Rotary International. There is probably 200 plus courses out there right now that you can take on Learning Center. And then Service Project Center is where you can go out and put something about your great project that you did, and it feeds to the world, and it has information. You can put videos, you can put pictures, you can put contact information. So you may have had a great project, whatever a great project may be, and somebody in South Africa is searching Service Center. And they're like, oh wow, I like that project. And oh wow, I see that Beverly is the contact for that. Let me call Beverly or email Beverly and talk to her about what they did in this project and what their success was with this project. So it's a great way to broadcast what you're doing in your community with projects to the world, to your service center. And that feeds back to the goals in Rotary Club Central as one of your service projects, which Rotary Club Central goals are what are tracked to get your Rotary citation that Rotary International issues every year for the great work that you do in your community. And the other great thing about this is it gives you announcements. It talks about different things going on, and it usually talks about our foundation. Somewhere they usually have it talking about the upcoming international convention. And you can also see the next 5 years of international conventions that are either confirmed or tentative dates, so that if you don't want to go to Taipei this year, but you want to go to Chicago in 2030 when they have the next big celebration of Rotary at Chicago, you'll know the dates that they're looking at, and you can plan on your calendar for the next 5 years for Rotary International Convention. Who in here has been to an international convention? Yeah. So there's also going to be the two upcoming in Minneapolis and Chicago are the next 2 U.S. Conventions. But if you've never been, I highly encourage you. It takes your Rotary experience from a club and community level to an international level, and just really wraps your arms around what we do as Rotarians around the world. And the friends and contacts that you'll make are just amazing around the world. The other thing I'd like to point out in closing, up here where it says my account where I'm logged in, if you want to know, you can see your profile with Rotary International. You can also see where it says my donations. You can click that and you can see what your donation history giving is to the Rotary Foundation from the very first donation that you gave to current day. Okay? And only you can see that detail when you're logged in. Okay? the officer, when the officers are logged in working on Rotary Club Central and all that, they can't see your detail. They can see some broad numbers on the report, but they can't see your transactional detail. And I don't care that you see mine, I'll open it so you can see what you're gonna see. So here you can see your donor history report. You can also, if you need, when you send money to the foundation and they email you your letter every month, if you've lost that letter that you need, or you need a tax receipt, you can go grab those there. You can also grab contribution forms as well. But the donor history report is a great tool to see where you're at, because it gives it to you in a graphical form, and then it also gives you on the second tab a full detail line item of what you have given. And it's always, says, as of today, is really one day behind. It's really giving through yesterday. It's 1 day behind that they did your money. Because here, so you can see the graphical of it, and then you can see the transactional details. So if you need to go back and figure out something didn't post, you can see the detail there. So that's a great tool there. So, and you have access to that through your My Account option in the top right hand corner. That is DACdB, my Rotary in a nutshell. What questions can I answer for you all?
Thanks for the information.
That's really, I'm in. Thank you.
And no, I'm only a phone call or an email away. Happy to answer that, or if you need to, I really need to sit down with you one-on-one. We can find the time to do that as well. Okay?
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Happy birthday.